proper PTGP. And the students who got benefited.
Another may be related with the social issues, may be related with the internal securities. So every week we will be having a different topics which will be really useful for your personality test, because all these panel members, they have been part of this process. They have trained many aspirants. They know what kind of questions can be expected in 2026 personality test, because most probably it will start from January. That's what I hope. But maybe this year, since we are expecting the results at any time, maybe from tomorrow onwards, we can expect the results at any time. So this year, the personality test may start little earlier. So we are well prepared for that, and DAF analysis will happen. And each and every candidate, those who are going to be part of this program, they will be preparing minimum 500 most expected questions. Along with that, they will also be given a kind of a training to answer for all the 500 questions. It will be recorded. First one-on-one sessions will be there. Followed by that, there will be a group discussions. And after that, there will be a personal grooming sessions. After that, again, the students, those who are going to be a part of this personality test, they'll be a panel members, and students also will become a one of the participants, and sir will be a moderator. So there are different kind of programs. Each and every program will groom your personality, and even all those who are selected from Tamil Nadu, they are going to be given a special attention. Any number of time you can come and approach. Any number of time you can just take the one-on-one session, or even the group discussion, or even DAF analysis. So we are there to help you. The KingMakers IAS Academy, the entire team members, including, you know very well that G. Balachandran IAS sir, Tamil Vendan IRS sir, Jawahar IAS sir, and Sivaselam IAS sir. There are so many greatest resource persons. Every week, Sunday, you will be having an opportunity to interact with such a greatest resource persons who were part of the central government as well as state government. They have implemented various schemes of the central government as well as the state government projects, and they know what kind of questions can be expected both in the mains as well as in the personality test. But of course, you have finished your mains, but this stage is very crucial. I'm sure this program, once again, is going to be one of the best program from KingMakers IAS Academy. And most of you, particularly from Tamil Nadu, if you are going to score more than 200 plus, I'm sure your name will be there in the final list. And before 2018, there were rumors that the students from Tamil Nadu are not considered properly. They are not given a proper opportunities, and there is a partiality in the UPSC. That is the reason why the students are not scoring a high marks in the personality test. All those stories were there. But it was a story. It was not in real terms. We proved that it is the UPSC always will select the right person, irrespective of region, religion, caste, community, whatever it may be. If you are good, I am sure definitely UPSC will give you the best marks. We have proved many times. Particularly in 2024 and 2023, our own students from KingMakers IAS Academy scored more than 200 plus. Many students, including Saranya, who got 210, and Arvind Kumar 202, and Mugilan, many students, 198, Vasumati, she got service only because of the personality test. Otherwise, she would not have got the service. So this stage is very, very important stage. So just I have mentioned only few names, but there are so many candidates who have been benefited out of this. So we realize that this stage is very, very important stage. We have to groom the personalities, and we have to start the training not only after clearing the mains examinations, but we have to start even when they are preparing for their prelims, as well as even when they are preparing for the mains examination. That is the reason some of these special programs are going to be in live stream. So those who are watching this program, if you are aiming for UPSC 2026 or 2027, this is the greatest opportunity, and all of a sudden you cannot change your personality, but over a period of time with a sincere and dedicated preparation, you can also score 200 plus in the personality test. So with this few words, I'm very happy, and I'm on behalf of the Kingmakers IAS Academy, I'm very happy to introduce such a greatest resource person, that is Vivek Harinarain IAS sir, who is the director for this program. After his association with the Kingmakers IAS Academy as a director for the personality test guidance program, this institute became famous for the personality test guidance program. So I request all the students to give a big round of applause for our great resource person, that is Vivek Harinarain IAS sir. He was part of our state government, though he is from Uttar Pradesh. He loves the student of Tamil Nadu, and not only Tamil Nadu, he loves basically all the aspirants, but he is giving special attention to the students, those who cannot, what to say, imagine that he can score more than 200 plus. Sometimes they may think that, sir, even 160 or 150 plus or 170 is enough for me, but sir will make sure that he is getting at least minimum 20 plus beyond his expectation. I'm sure definitely his training, his way of teaching will be little bit tough, okay, little bit difficult. Not today, not today. Today you will enjoy it, but in the one-on-one session, sir will be little hard. But if you are ready to accept certain comments, I'm sure definitely you can work on it, and you will also improve, you will also score really better marks. So don't take it anything personally. This is, every advice is given only to shape your personality, okay? So with those few words, once again, I take this opportunity to thank, on behalf of the Kingmakers IAS Academy, on behalf of the community of the aspirants, on behalf of the Tamil Nadu aspirants. Sir, thank you so much, sir, for coming and sharing your valuable experience and time and everything continuously for the last 6 years, and this year also, with your support, with your blessings, with your cooperation, I'm sure the Tamil Nadu is going to be the once again, after a period of 13 to 14 years, is going to prove as a #1 state in producing more number of achievers in the civil service examination, for which this personality test guidance program is going to help you a lot. Thank you so much, sir. Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. The volume is okay?
Yes.
So please don't feel scared. I mean, I don't know why Bhuminathan, kind of creates a very scary situation as far as I'm concerned, but let me just give you a background of how all this thing started. Bhuminathan and I, we were having discussions, and in the 1960s and 1970s, typically, I'm assuming that a batch of people who get selected to the IAS, I'm just keeping the IAS, and we'll not talk about, we can consider that as a expansion to other services also. But typically in the 60s and 70s, if there were 100 children who were getting selected in the IAS, about 70 to 75 would be from Tamil Nadu. No jokes. Please go and find out. Bhuminathan has the data, 1950s, 60s, you check up. Out of average, 70% of the total candidates succeeding in civil services were from Tamil Nadu. Started coming down. The year I got in was 1980. 1980, I got into the civil services and got allotted to Tamil Nadu cadre. And that year also about 40 to 50% of the total number of candidates who would get in anywhere between 35 to 40% of the candidates who would get in the civil services exam amongst the top ranks would be from Tamil Nadu. But then we were seeing that slowly and steadily, the number is coming down to virtually less than 15%, 10%, 15%. Now, why was this happening? Many reasons. One of the reasons was that Tamil Nadu or Madras, those days as it was, Madras city and Tamil Nadu was a very developed state compared to other states. So education over here was also far more developed, let's say, compared to the northern states. But slowly, educational institutions started coming up in the northern states, central states, western states, and children realized that there is a good career over here. So more and more children also started competing. But amongst one of the reasons which we realized was the fact that the children and students, especially the candidates from Tamil Nadu, were not taking this personality test seriously enough. For them, it was okay. I've done my prelims. Of course, the marks those days, the prelims was not there. In fact, prelims started from my batch. 1979 was the first batch of prelim examination, and my ultimate batch was 1980. And 1980 was we were the first to give a prelim examination. But then you realize that if you think you've done well in the mains, then you don't need to do anything else. And we realized that personality test is so strategic to final selection, because that's how the whole concept of coaching on personality starts. So in fact, in India, everybody did mock interviews. We used to have mock interviews where you are called in and there are some 3 or 4 people told, and you are made to sit down and questions are asked like a typical mock interview, and you are given some questions and you give your answers, and then they tell you do this, etc., and that's it. So I told Bhubinathan, it's like throwing a person who doesn't know how to swim into a swimming pool and then expecting him to swim. Not acceptable. So I said, then we will start what is called personality development program, where we actually, to give you the same example of the swimming pool, we will first coach you on how to swim. We will tell you how to swim, how to float, how to improve your speed, how to swim without splashing too much water, and therefore then put you into the swimming pool. So that's how the program started, and how you will be coached on how to prepare for a personality test, and then we will test you on the personality test. So that's how the genesis started. And it's become a record. I mean, you cannot imagine how successful that program was. And today, of course, many academies across Tamil Nadu and India are following that model. But we were the first to start it. And I remember it's not something we are not saying out of a sense of pride. I'm just stating facts. When we started this program, in fact, nobody knew what was happening. But after the first session, 2 sessions, what happened? There would be months together from 7, because I was also a little busy, from anywhere between 7:30 to 11:30 at night, half an hour sessions, 45-minute sessions with this thing. I would do it for months together. And my initial, again, well, what should I say, regret was there would be more number of students from Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, other states as compared to Tamil Nadu. And they would start getting good marks. But then, of course, the turns changed. Chitra was one classic example. Chitra was, I mean, she had a lot of these children. Let me also tell you, it's not like we have done a magic. The fact is that a lot of the children whom we have coached, it was not their first personality test. They had gone for personality test earlier, and they had landed up with 135, 140, 145. And then they came to us. And then they jumped to 190, 200. So nothing has changed. The person remains the same. Everything remains the same, except that some kind of coaching has been given, some kind of, how to do it better has been told. That's it. And that made a difference of 60 marks, 40 marks. And of course, some of the students came number 1 in their year, in the whole service also. Many children got number 1 ranks in the interview. Incidentally, again, by God's grace, I was the topper of my batch. I was the topper of the interview in my batch. Those days, the number of marks was 250. And I got 215. 215 out of 250. So in today's world, it's like getting 240 out of 275. So it's possible. And what was my advantage? I'll tell you honestly what was my advantage. My biggest advantage was not studies so much. First of all, not so much studies. Of course, yes, knowledge is important. I used to do a lot of theater. I used to do plays. Theater, you know theater, no? Understand theater? I used to do a lot of theater and plays, not only in the city where I come from, which is Lucknow, but I had gone to Bombay, I'd performed with Nasiruddin Shah, I mean, the people of those days, Shahid Kapoor's father. We had not done theater together. Now, once you've done theater well, see, you are practiced to speak to nothingness. Now, when you are in theater, how many of you have done theater or let's say poetry or singing, something where the lights are very strong on you? Please raise your hand. Please, first thing is that, now you might find it funny. This is your hand only, isn't it? Then why are you hesitatingly? Either it's up or it's down. It's not somebody else's hand. So, I mean, when I say that yes, sir means yes, sir. It can't be, so either yes or no. I mean, it's as simple. How many of you have done theater or poetry where you stood behind a lectern, there's a lot of lights in front of you, and you've spoken? Please tell me. Yeah. What have you done? Wonderful. Debating. And wonderful. What about you? Plays? Wonderful. What about you? Wonderful. Now, what is common to all these things? When you're on stage, there is so much of light in front of you. Actually, you don't know whether there is anyone sitting, hall is empty or the hall is full. Isn't it true? It's so much light sometimes that you don't even know. You're actually speaking to nothingness. So I had done, number one, I had done a lot of theater. You have to give your heart and soul into your dialogues, into your passion. So if you're angry, you have to show anger. If you're happy, you have to show happiness. And you don't even know there's anyone in front of you or not. Zero. That's number one. Number two, I was also a television compeer. I was the first television compeer of Lucknow Doordarshan, the city from where I come. Where again, actually in television compeering, anyone has done television compeering or no? Okay, fine. So basically you are speaking to a camera. There is no human being in front of you. But you are speaking as if the most fantastic human being is sitting in front of you. Actually, there's nothing. It's just a camera. There's a camera. There are some sound people. There's some light people. It's like a movie. The lights come on. There's the lights, sound, test it. Okay, one. Then they count behind. They count 1, 2, 3. That's your symbol. And you say namaskar. And you start talking as if like there's a huge number of people in front of you. Actually, there's no one. So you get so used to the fact that talking to nothingness, talking to no one, that actually when you find 5 people sitting in front of you, you feel, wow, thrilled, yeah. This is really good because I have been talking to 0, yeah. Now that's the practice which I want all of you to do. So one of the key factions of preparing for the interview is that who should you be talking to? I'm giving you some basic fundamentals. Who should you be talking to? Yes, ma'am. First of all, louder, because first thing of interview is that you have to project your voice. You have to speak clearly and loudly. Otherwise, you might say the best words in the world, but if you can't be heard, I'm sorry, then you won't get the marks. Okay? So, yeah, please. Yes. Perfect. That's my answer. Your best friend for your preparation for the interview is your mirror, Kannadi. Stand in front of the mirror and talk. Record that. Put a camera behind you, your cell phone, whatever. The camera does not tell lies. It exactly shows you what you are. And when you go back and look at it, you'll realize whether you are a hero or you're a 0. And over time, you realize, keep those recordings. Say the same thing, same answer. What's your name? Bharati. First question normally you may get is like, Bharati, okay, you're from Chennai, Tamil Nadu. Tell us something about yourself. That's a normal question. So I'm Bharati, I'm so-and-so, so-and-so. Use first time. See it. I'm telling you, you've done it 5 times, 6 times, and you'll see, and you compare with the first one, you'll say, okay, in this I would have got 130, this is 200. Who has done it? Bharati herself. So what I'm going to tell you and what I'm going to teach you is basically strategy. The person who has to do it is a Bharati or a Malati or a Sukumar or a Kumar or, I mean, name yourselves. You have to do it yourself. Nobody will do it for you. That's the number one guidance. So it means everyone is possible of doing it. And believe me, the other thing is practice, practice, practice. These are common. You have to do it, number one. Number two, you have to practice, practice, and practice. And that makes it perfect. Bruce Lee, remember, he used to say that famous dialogue of Bruce Lee? Which one? Sorry, louder, louder, please. Yep. Bruce Lee said that I don't fear person. I'm giving a number. Let's say I'm not afraid of somebody who knows 1,000 or 5,000 kicks. I'm afraid of the person who knows one kick, but he has damn well practiced it 5,000 times. Only one kick, but he has practiced it 5,000. So that's it. The only thing is that I will not ask you to practice one answer and question 5,000 times. I will ask you to practice and answer 5,000 questions 5,000 times. So that's it. That's the basic mantra of the basic. And now we'll move on. So either use Lama. No, I shouldn't stand in between. I shouldn't come between you and me. Am I sounding like that Kailasa guy? There is that Kailasa guy, no? He says, me is standing between you and me. So if me comes before me, then me, don't do that for your personality test. You'll end up with Kailasa. You won't get civil services. Okay, this is it. Some basics, as you all know. If you are not able to see, please come this side and sit down. Okay, fine. So good. Now, as I said, the prelims have already been concluded. Mains examinations. How many of you have given the mains examination? Wow. 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 You've all given mains? All right, good. Oh, ange camera. Appa idikulle na vandirupani. So, as I said, the mains exam results are expected anytime. Tomorrow, day after, anytime they're expected. But even for those who are preparing for the prelims and who have not given the mains examination, let me tell you, this is not, it's specific to those who are giving the interview, going to prepare for the interview, but it's also for anyone who has to develop that state of mind. So it all applies to you. So this is, as I said, expected anytime. The interviews are expected from December. These are all facts. You're aware of the details. Well, about 4 to 5 lakh appear. A certain portion, depending on the total number of people to be selected, 1,000, let's say like 1,000 have to be selected. This year is 979, but 1,000 people have to be selected. About 2.5 to 2.7 factor is called for the interview. So 2,700 have to be called for the interview. A factor of 4 or 5 times of that is normally called for the mains examination. So that's the basic competition that you have to go through. So if you ask me, the main competition, can you see the light? I can't. Oh, it doesn't show on this screen. So I think this, you forget all these numbers and all. It's all it doesn't matter. 10 lakh, 15 lakh, 20 lakh. The number of people who actually seriously sit for the exam, and that's where your competition is not more than about 4 lakhs, 3 to 4 lakhs. It's not more than that. And that to me is the ultimate test of how strategy should work. Getting to crack it to the point of getting to the mains. Once you've got to the mains, it's a sail through. Because that's where the crunch happens. This is where it gets crunched to this number. So after that, you are about 12 to 14,000, and out of that 14,000, approximately 2.5. So you're looking at about 1:5 is being selected. And from here, 1:2.5, 1:2.3 is being selected. So getting here is important. Once you get here, you can imagine the number of people who are sitting in this room. If all of you had written your mains, maybe 1 out of 4 or 5 would be called. So 50%, almost like 40%, 50% would be called. And out of that, another 40-50% will make it to the IAS or the civil services. So that's where the challenge is. These are just data. I mean, now, why I'm saying preparation is important, because this is a slide which you all must understand the significance of 1 mark. 1 mark makes a difference between getting in or out. 1 mark makes a difference between getting to a particular service or not getting to your service. And it's really significant, because initially the first 20, 25, 100, let's say, odd ranks, the difference are 5 marks, 3 marks, 4 marks. By the time it comes down to 100 odd, every 1 mark, there'll be about 3 or 4. By the end of it, there'll be 1 mark every 10, 15, 20 students. And then, so every mark counts, is what I'm trying to tell you. So you have to be very selfish. You have to selfish to be enough to be able to grab each and every mark. And marks no, grab it. Every mark has to be grabbed. So that's the importance and significance of mark. I'll tell you later on this also. As I said, good marks in main, but low marks in personality test. Low marks in mains, but good marks in personality test. Good marks that is where really makes a difference. Well, you have to be consistent. You have to ensure that you are consistent with the kind of marks that you get. And out of the total marks that you get, which is 1,750 plus add to that the 275, the 2,025 marks, let me tell you that 275 marks are exceptionally important and critical. Very, very important and critical. So that is where you make or break. And if you please go and study the pattern, KingMakers has got enough data on that. Please go and study the pattern. A lot of people who have made it to the top are all who are almost equal to each other as far as the mains are concerned. Almost equal. Some, in fact, lower. The top 10, not the highest, but amongst the much lesser than the person who's come 24th, 25th, 50. But because they scored well in their personality test, on a combined score, they were able to reach the top and therefore get the service they wanted, get the state that they wanted, get whatever. Everything else matters on that. So this is really what is important. When should you start? As I said, answer very clearly. You have to start yesterday. Now, how many of you are planning to write the prelims 2026? I suppose everyone? Yeah, not the ones who have given the mains this time, I hope. You didn't raise your hands. Because all those who have written the mains this time should be getting in. You should qualify. Now, all those who are writing, and which I suppose all of you are writing the prelims, it's very important that you start very, very early. Have you all done a session on strategy for prelims? What is the strategy for prelims? Okay. It's basically the same like anything else. You should know what you have to do, but more importantly, you should know what you should not do. You should know what to do, but more importantly, you should know what not to do. Because the time spent on both is the same. The time spent on what you have to do is the same as the time that you would spend that if you don't have to do something. And while the time spent on what you have to do is gain, the time spent on something which you should not have done is a complete waste. So let me run through this, and after that, if you have any questions on the prelim strategy, etc., we'll kind of work on that too. So start early. For your prelims, also start early. Let's understand what is the definition of a line, straight line. Anyone? And first of all, I want you to be vocal. I want you to be energetic. I mean, I'm 70 years old and I'm bloody jumping on the stage, and you people are sitting like, you are. Come on. Yeah. Anyone else? I don't want the frontline speakers to speak. From the back. What's the definition of a straight line? shortest distance between two given points. It's very simple. Shortest distance between two given points. Now, why I said two given points? One point is today, 9th November 2000. Let's be loud, yaar. Come on. I'm slightly deaf also. By the way, I'm slightly deaf also. So, not dumb, but deaf. So, point A is 9th November. Louder, 9th November. What is point B? Preliminary exam. The date of the preliminary exam. That's point B. How many days? Whatever. It will be, I don't know. When will be the next prelims? Have the dates come? No. 24th May 2026. So both known. So point A is known, point B is known. Right? How many hours? Anyway, calculate. You need minimum of 2000 hours of study. And I'm talking then first shot, no thinking. 100% I will get it. So if you're in November, let's say, and you are, let's say, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, 7 months odd, let's say, if you knock off the 7 months, 7 into 3, you're looking at 210. You need to be studying at least 6 hours a day, minimum now. Minimum 5 to 6 hours a day. And then again, in that minimum 5 to 6 hours a day, my dear children, you have to study what you should study and you should not be studying what you should not be studying. Because please write on your wall, whichever point, that very important thing, that I should do what I should do, I should not do what I should not do. Because any journey taken between point A and point B need not necessarily be on that straight line. You understand? It could actually be a journey also where you are moving away from the straight line. So this point A, point B, you have to cover this distance. Now you could actually be thinking I'm doing something right, but you're actually moving here. Or you could be moving here, 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 here. So after that period of wherever the May 2026, the exam, you realize I've not reached point B. I'm still far away from point B. So strategically, you have to ensure that you just focus and study on what is necessary. I think they've already told you that question papers, newspapers, all those things, specific to the curriculum requirement of the preliminary examination. And quick thinking. Let me tell you some good tips about the prelims. First number tip is quick reading. Improve your reading speed. How you'll do it, I don't know. But the most, I can write on this, straight away here itself. So let's make it very simple. No, this is not, you're not on that. Okay. Oh, go back. No, back to the screen. Yeah. Color. Just check it. Anyway, it's okay. So I said point A and point B. This is the shortest distance that you have. This is November 9th. This is your, whatever, 15th of May. Whatever, I'm just putting some date. Good thing, let's understand. First thing, let's be very clear. What is really good about prelim examination, anything else, is that the question paper that you get in Chennai will be the same as they will get in Delhi or Mumbai or Jharkhand or anyone else. It's the same question paper. You can't say any question paper, but tough easy. Number one. Number two, the time available between, if you are, as I'm talking to you here in Chennai or as somebody is talking to them, is democratically available to everyone. It's not like in Tamil Nadu, you are 24 hours, somewhere you're getting 24 hours, not 28 hours per day, somewhere it's only 20 hours per day. It's 24 hours per day into number of days. It's all simple. So it's all democracy. So what now, having said and established those two aspects, the two or three things that you must really improve on is, as I said, improve your reading speed. I suppose everybody will give the exam in English. I suppose everybody is writing the English only. Improve your reading speed. Now, how do you do that? And let me also tell you, reading speed is directly proportionate to comprehension. The faster you read, the higher is the concentration, the higher is the imbibation of knowledge. Comprehension is higher. So what you should do is take a passage, read it once, time yourself, read it again, read it the third time. You'll realize that by the time you're reading it the third time, the time taken for reading the same passage is less. You're reading it faster and you're understanding it even more. And why I'm saying this is because there are 100 questions that come in the prelim examination, and the time available is fixed. And you will have to read not those question papers not only once, but you'll have to read them at least 1.5 times, if not twice. Anyone who cannot read fast and who can only read 70 questions or 80 questions in the given time, then you're limiting your choice only to 80 questions. You can't even do the balance 20 questions. So improve your English reading speed. So some article of Hindu, something which you find interesting, start reading it, something new. Also, therefore, start reading things which is relevant to your knowledge. So if it's new newspaper, fine. If it's history, some book, some NCRT book, Lakshmikant, political science, whatever, the books that you are preparing for your prelim examination, try reading the same chapter faster twice, once or two times. So that's number one. Number two is, so this is Guru Mantra number one. Number two is, I would suggest that after you've improved your reading speed, start testing yourself on comprehension. Test your comprehension. If there are words which I'm not able to understand, vocabulary which I'm not able to understand, try and test your comprehension. Number two. Because again, these are all, you all know these things. If you don't understand the question, how will you answer it? It's as simple as that. ಕೇಳ್ವಿಯೇ ಪುರಿಲಿಯ ಸರ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೇಟಾಗ ಪುರಿಲಿಯನ ಅப்புறம் என்ன பதில் கொடுப்பீங்க சாய்ஸ் A B C D னா தெரியாது. Number three secret of which I will consider very important is that this is a qualifying examination. CSAT within that is a qualifying examination, and the preliminary examination a qualifying examination. You need to score only 50%. So there again, like I told you, for your study of knowing what to do and knowing what not to do, just as is there in the preparation. So I think again another thing. Please don't study anything for showing off at this stage. This is an examination where it's a qualifying examination, the marks don't matter. So whether you score 75% or 80% or just that 51% which you need to do to ensure that I get cleared to become that eligible ticket, to take that ticket to go to the mains hall, that's all that's necessary. So please don't, and similarly, when you are doing your prelim examination, remember there are 100 questions, you need to get only 50 right, which means technically speaking, you can leave 50 questions and still qualify. Get it? Yes, sir? Sad writing hai. I'm saying only 50 questions you do, you can still qualify, you're becoming sad. You should be jumping with joy, sir. So what I'm trying to say, in the paper also, you should very clearly know what questions to do and what questions to leave. And the questions which you have to leave, please don't attempt them. I have known of children who have done 65, 70 questions and then thought, "Arey yaar, 65, 70 mato padir ke hain." They did another 15, lost by 1 mark because of that 15 questions which they lost. Because so many of those negatives from there got, negative marking is there, you know all that. And I know of a person, these are some basics of things I'm telling you. I know of a person who didn't know a single answer. Typically, situation for at least the first 12 questions. First 12 questions, and topped the exam. We got 72%. Because please remember, there are 100 questions. So I'm kind of, and in some way I'm answering some of the questions that people asked me. So Kanda first 2 questions, 3 questions, nervous haita. Is that? Sorry, no. As I'm telling you example, not knowing the first 10, 12 questions and top the examination. So these are some of the things which I thought you should know. Basically, as I said, don't get nervous. Number one, please understand, to encourage yourself, that it's the same question paper for everyone. It's not like it's different for all of you and some. And number two, the time available for preparation, the time available for giving the examination is also the same for all of you. So that's a good thing. All right. So we'll go back to the screen, then we can begin. You've been able to capture that. Now, what I was trying to tell you on this journey, is that you have to travel from here to here. This is the time which is available to you, which is available to every child who's planning to appear for prelims. It has a certain number of hours in it. It has a certain number of days in it. You have to multiply the hours. You need to do at least put in 1,200 hours of solid study. And here again, which I told you, is that so any journey need not be from here to here. You could start from here and go here and then maybe come back here, and then you take a dip off somewhere and you wander off. And you like that point B has come, but I'm somewhere here only. I've not even reached this point. I've not covered those subjects. So stay focused. Stay focused to the point that you have to prepare a very strategic plan on what to study, total, what not to study, and break it up into this. I must first into months, then into weeks, and then finally into days. At least weekly, you should be able to get it down. And that has to be based on the strategy of the study of question papers, which I'm sure KingMakers would have given to you. What has been the trend? Like ancient Indian history questions are not coming now. I mean, there were 10 questions earlier coming, only 2 or 3 questions are coming. You don't like ancient Indian history? I will even say you can consider not studying it at all. Because, which means maybe out of 100, 5 questions I don't know. Fine. It's okay. Focus on what you enjoy studying, focus on what you love studying, and compare it with the data analysis of what has been the trend of questions. And after that, basics only. Though a lot of questions now is on newspaper, news, etc., etc. So that's another big chunk. There you can't give up anything or not. So try and stay focused on this. Make a study plan, make a subject-wise weekly study plan. And Nothing like once you are able to achieve that weekly study plan, and that is when you get your dose of happiness. So what is your dose of happiness? D stands for dopamine, O stands for oxytocin, S stands for serotonin, and E stands for endorphins. That's your dose, DOSE. Every week, I have supposed to do this. Boss, 6 days itself, I've done it. Whoa! Reversals. But you know what you have to cover. So you must get your daily dose of dopamine. You must get your daily dose of oxytocin because you know what you have to study. Today, sociology, chapter 4 at 5, I have to do. I've done it, ticked it, done. Get it? That's how champions are made. And all of you are champions. All of you are champions because the most important decision you have taken is to be here. You are at point A. That's the most important decision. The rest, as they say, is history. History will talk about the fact that this is what happened. So you must, as I said, stay focused. Now, that is where you must insist on KingMakers Academy to help you prepare your, at least up to the monthly study plan. And I'll come back to what's really important. Now we can go. Any questions? Keep noting it down. Any questions up to point this point? All right, good. So, yeah, start early. So now let's get into the fact of personality test. What is the person? So what is personality actually? I've taken a definition. You can take a picture of this or whatever you want. Personality is the unique and relatively stable pattern of thoughts, emotions, and behavior that define an individual and influences how they interact. This is it. Okay? Now, what I've underlined is that unique, which means each one of you is unique. Your personality is unique. Please do not try and be someone else. Okay? You are going to be selected for the personality test. And this, by the way, this personality business doesn't stand only for the personality test. It also stands for your preparation for the civil services prelim examination. Each of you will have a different study plan. Each of you will have your different priorities. Each of you are unique, and you must understand, appreciate, and be proud of that uniqueness. That I'm unique. The second characteristics of personality is that stable. You're more or less like that all the time. So if you're an outgoing person, you will always be an outgoing person. If you are a little bit of an introvert, you will always be an introvert. If you're a carefree person, you'll always be carefree. You can't be carefree one day, not carefree one day, not outgoing one day, ingoing another day, happy person one day, sad person. So character of personality is that pattern of behavior is more or less stable for you. And between this uniqueness and stability of you, that is very important, that this influences in the way you take decisions on various situations, various points, various questions, various circumstances. These 2, 3, 4 things determine your behavior. So now that is the really important part, and therefore what I'm saying that when they are checking your personality test, and when we'll go back, I'm coming back to personality test, when you're checking your personality, they'll basically are looking at the fact that do you have it inside of you to be unique and stable enough? That means, the same kind of reactions will come all the time. To be able to influence your behavior so that you are able to interact where you interact with either petitioners or colleagues or seniors or political leaders, whatever it is. This is what they are trying to judge, but for the civil services. And so therefore, the personality test, if you look at it, is basically a comprehensive evaluation of your suitability for public service. For public service, do you have that 3, 4 things? This is what is being tested. It's not a test for your sports. It's not a test for your 100 meters dash. It's not a test for anything else. It's basically for civil services, public service. And what will be based on? Whether are you alert? Do you have critical thinking? leadership, moral integrity. In fact, I keep telling that in civil services, what civil stands for? Critical thinking. I stands for intelligent work. V stands for vigilant action. I stands for inclusive attitude. And if all these things are automatically, then that L will happen. You'll become a leader. That's what civil is all about. It's not about na IS anybody come and touch my feet because na IS irke, na IPS irke. உங்க முன்னால வணக்கம் சொல்வாங்க பின்னால போய் கைக்கு என்ன பண்ணுவாங்க உங்களுக்கு தெரியும் which finger they will show to you. So leadership comes from the fact that you must have a C, that critical thinking. Number two, you should have an inclusive attitude. Number V, you should be vigilant action and intelligent work, not hard work, but heart work. All that is being tested. Does that person have the capacity to lead? Does he have the capacity to remain? In fact, one basic fundamental of your civil services is that you are being selected for what has been provided for in the Article 312. You know that. I hope all of you know that. Article 312, you know that, provides for the fact that there will be civil services. And that civil services is supposed to act on the basis of the preamble. I suppose all of you should know the preamble by heart also by now. No, some are shaking their head, some are looking straight. Now in Tamil Nadu, the problem is when you shake your head like this, in the north, when we shake our head like this, it means I don't know. It means this is yes, this is no. In Tamil Nadu, when you shake your head, this could mean yes, it could mean no, it could also mean maybe. So justice, equality, liberty, fraternity, yeah. And the fact is that nobody has given that constitution to you. It says we, the people of India, give to ourselves. So each one of you is responsible for giving that constitution. You will be measured against that. In the course of your examination, in the course of your questioning, they will keep checking out in some silent kind of stable, unique way. They will be checking out whether it's inside of this person to be able to ensure justice, equality, liberty, and fraternity for the least of the people, not the most powerful, for the least of the people. So that's the character of personality that they will be looking at. Any questions up to this point? Na inge ukarmaledu, inge ukarlama. You have to make me sit where others can also see. You know, there's some online people. Any questions up to this point? I have terrible knee pain. Yeah, that's the problem I'm sitting now. I wish some of you were standing, I was sitting there, you know. Yeah, tell me, any questions up to this point? None? All right. So I think everything is fairly clear what has to be done. So we'll move on. Okay. So what is this personality test? The first thing is it's not a question and answer. I'll be getting deeper into it. It's not a question and answer. It is a test of all the like they call that all the Qs are there, no? IQ, EQ, PQ, SQ, all those things. It's a test of that. Your intelligence quotient, your personality quotient, your emotional quotient, your spiritual quotient, all those things. Similarly, this is a test of your emotional personality, your physical personality, your intelligence personality, your social behavior personality, your secular personality. It is a test of all those things because ultimately, as I said, from the personality test, you will be revealing certain personality traits and certain personality qualities, which is unique to you and which is stable to you and which is consistent for you and which will influence your behavior. So, அதனால் இந்த பசங்களுக்குள்ள இது இருக்கா இல்லையா அதான் செக் பண்றாங்க. So there's nothing like a physical. The physical part of it stops from the moment you enter the room. That's it. Because till that before that you are just a picture. You're just a picture of your picture which you would have taken in your DAF 1 or DAF 2, whatever it is. But this is the first time they'll say, and they'll say, oh, wow, this is it. This is the candidate. After that, it's just a question of checking out how good you are on your emotional intelligence and other things. So any doubts, any questions? Now, as I said, it's not a Q&A. It's not a question. It's not like, what do you think about it? Pat. What do you think about but? It's a conversation. So it is important that knowledge is important. But it is not entirely the test of your knowledge. It is not entirely a test of your knowledge, though it is a test of knowledge. And I'll tell you why. So it's not a cross-examination, but as I said, it's a conversation. Suitability of your candidate for the public service to mental judge the caliber, not only his intellectual, but also the social traits and interest in current affairs. Now, what are the things, as I said, when I said that knowledge is important, but not entirely the test? See, first of all, understand who you are. You would be anywhere between 23 to 28, 30 years of age, I suppose. All of you? Some age. More than 21 years, because you have to be 21 years before you can appear for the civil services. You have to be more than 21. But sitting on the other side are 5 people, are all retired. So minimum 60, otherwise 64, 65. So it's 25 versus 325 years of experience. Facts. I mean, I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just stating facts. Age-wise, 25 years of existence on this planet called Earth, multiplied by 65 into 5, 325 years of existence on planet Earth. Experience, 0. There, even if they got in at 25, so 40 into 5, 200 years of experience. So obviously they have more experience than you, they are more solid than you, they have more knowledge than you. But you are supposed to have knowledge about what is relevant, and I will talk to you about it. So what I'm trying to put across to you is that I don't know, and please listen to this very carefully. I don't know is a very good answer. Is a very good answer. But how you say it, that is also very important. Now, there are certain zones and areas over which, and we will come to that, on which you can't say I don't. I mean, you can't say, I mean, you've studied sociology and you say, like, what's the basic definition of the primitive man and modern man? And you say, I don't know. Then you might as well forget it. I mean, that's what Bhuminathan says, I can be quite forthright. I won't say, like, maybe you still have a chance. No, you can forget about it. So we'll go to that. So that's it. So this is it. As I said, this is your. I would also please. There are. I have not brought it here, but in the Lal Bahan Labasna Academy and the other police academies also, there are these trait signs which have been put up there. You can find them. Google them, or you can find them. Definitely, you can find it. What are the personality traits expected from a civil servant? Other intellectual integrity is one very important aspect. Is anonymity. You can Google it and find out. You can ask anyone whom has been there. Intellectual intellectualism, honesty, integrity, anonymity. These are all the traits that are expected of a civil servant. Secular is all expected of a civil servant. And therefore, if you know that inside story, that what is the expectation in Labasna, you can prepare for that, what I'm trying to tell you. So police officers, you check up with the Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel Academy and you check up with Labasna. There are, and it's all over the place. You can make out. Anybody can share it with you. These are said some of the qualities which they will judge. Mental alertness, critical powers of assimilation, logical explanation, balance of judgment, variety and depth of interest, ability for social cohesion, leadership, intellectual moral integrity. You can, as I said, add to that all the things that are available. We'll come to that later. This is too early for that. But these are all things that you need to understand. So as I said, the first thing about the personality test is that it's something that you have to enjoy. You have to enjoy the personality test. Now, how many have seen this program called Kaun Banega Crorepati? Please raise your hand. And believe me, I'll not judge you by that because you have a TV park. Boss, I used to do everything that I don't want to tell everything because start something else. But I didn't give up on my theatre. I didn't give up on my television comparing. Television comparing because it's my source of income. Those days I used to get 500 rupees a program. 79, 80, 76 actually when I started. And if I did 3 programs, I got 1,500. 1,500 when the IAS officer's salary was only 400 rupees. And I was getting 1,500 for comparing, just going in there, smiling and making no sound. But of course, whatever. So money-wise, everything I was okay. So I didn't give up on anything. There was not a single day, again, with all due regard to all of you, but there was not a single day when I did not shave. It's not like I have a dadi because I'm preparing for the civil services, so I have to look like, I've become a sadhu. Because I used to, and again, as I said, all of you, your preparation style has to be unique to you. But that uniqueness must be stable because that's your personality. Now, for me, my best studying hours were night. Because, of course, those days there was no phone also. There was no mobile phone. There was a lot of you kids have a lot of challenges. You have your worst enemy is your bloody mobile phone. We had no phones. We had that sort of thing. And but still the sounds and disturbances of the day, I wanted to stay away from that. So I used to study at night. I used to study from about 9:30 in the night after finishing a light dinner and study till 7 or 8 in the morning. Straight. Khub smoking. Because the whole purpose of staying awake is over now. So I couldn't afford it. I used to smoke BDs also. So it's okay. The idea was to stay alert and awake. So, and after that, I would eat my breakfast and sleep. And I would sleep till 3:34. Then get up at 3:34 and go out and meet my friends in the evening, sometimes even go to it's like going from Mount Road, you go to Buhari's, have a cup of tea, have some bun maska and all those things. And every day you are seen in Mount Road or whichever is your favorite places, Nagar, T Nagar, whichever places you are looking at. Every day people saw you, oh, he's roaming around here between 5 and 6:37. So it was not like, nothing. Life was normal. So when I got into the civil services, and I'm giving my example not because I did anything special, but I thought I did something which was unique and stable to my personality, which you have to discover for yourselves. So if you think that, but A to B point, time available, number of hours available, number of weeks available, number of days available, matter is also known. The total subject matter to be covered is also known. This has to be covered. Break it up to monthly targets, weekly targets, ultimately, finally, daily targets if necessary. And if you've covered it, then you go and have fun. You go and do what you want. And I'm sure you'll do it. Because all of you are champs. You'll do it. But the first thing is, I said, you have to sit down and make that plan. How many of you read that book called Eat That Frog? And the Tavakalai Sabdu. Read that book. Read that book. So sometimes sitting and making this plan is like eating a frog. Now, you won't like to eat frog, isn't it? And I'm talking live frog. I'm not talking dead frog. But that's it. We tend to postpone the most difficult things, which may be the most useful thing for us, because we just postpone it. So I'm saying that that's the book. It tells us that sometimes making the strategy plan, which actually is a very difficult task, you keep pushing it. Okay, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. So consider it that if on a breakfast table you have your famous breakfast items and you have a frog, but if you have to eat the frog first, eat the frog first. Forget the idli, forget the vada. And I'm talking not, it's symbolic. So don't say, sir, I'm a vegetarian. So, don't give me all that. And if there's between two frogs, if there is an ugly frog, eat the ugly frog first. That's it. All your life you'll enjoy more. And a lot of times when people said that, we'll do it there, we'll do it later. And I used to tell that block, it's a choice between November 2025 to mid-May 2026. You're hardly talking 6 months. 6 months into whatever, 6 into 3, 180 into some 5 hours a day or 4 hours a day is also. 4 hours a day, you're looking at 800, 900 hours. 1,000 hours is good enough for prelims. Because then you again get time for prelims to mains, you get to. It's a question of 720 hours versus a lifetime of feeling so good that I've made it in my life, yeah. I think, isn't that worth it? Yes, sir, or no, sir? ரொம்ப டல்லா சொல்றீங்களா இப்பவே தமக்குலை சாப்பிட்டீங்களா? Yes, sir, or no, sir? So you promise to be strategic? Good. So that's the first step. Prepare your strategy. And as I said, based on your personality, it is unique and stable to you. So we'll move on to the next step. As I said, it's a. So I was telling you that, about this Kaun Banega Crorepati program. Now, so how many of you have seen actually that program in Tamil? Something. All right, good. So we have seen that whichever version you've seen, Hindi wala ya Tamil wala, அதுக்கு முன்னால ஒரு fastest finger first இருக்குல்ல, அதுக்கு முன்னால ஒரு fastest finger first இருக்குல்ல, that 5-6 people are selected and அதுக்கப்புறம் ஒரு 4-5 கேள்வி கேட்பாங்க, ஒரு கேள்வி கேட்பாங்க, list according historical perspectiveல பார்த்தா இதே முன்னால நடந்தது, இது அப்புறமா நடந்தது, 1 2 3 4 5 6 events, and then now your time starts now over. Okay, அப்புறம் எல்லாம் அப்படி உட்காந்துருக்காங்க. And then பண்ணிட்டு then gray shirt, you have won. The gray shirt, he has won. What is the reaction? What is the reaction? இல்ல கரெக்டா? ஹிந்தியில நான் பார்க்குறேன், தமிழ்ல நான் பார்க்குறேன். தமிழ் ரியாக்ஷன் எப்பவுமே ஹிந்தி ரியாக்ஷனோட ஜாஸ்தியாகவே இருக்கும். பிகாஸ் ரஜினிகாந்த் படத்தில், நம்ம ஹிந்தி படத்துல ஒரு ஆள் இப்படியே பண்ணுவான், குசா கொடுப்பான். ரஜினி கொடுத்தானா இப்படி நான் பண்ணிட்டு அப்புறம் கொடுத்துருவான். நம்ம ஹிந்தி படத்துல ஒரு 3 அடி வித்தியாசத்துல பண்ணுவான், இவர் 30 அடி வித்தியாசத்துல போய் கொடுத்துவான். So everything is 10 times more in Tamil. Now, what is that reaction for? Seriously, what is that reaction for? I have got a chance to அந்த நாற்காலியில உட்கார்ந்துக்க ஒரு வாய்ப்பு. அவ்வளவுதானா தம்பி? நீங்க தான் ஜெயிச்சிருக்கீங்க. உன் பேர் என்ன? அவன் பேரே தெரியாது, நான் கரோட்பதி ஆயிட்டான். ஐயோ பாருங்க கரோட்பதி ஆயிட்டான். என் பேர் என்ன சார்? சிவாஜி கணேசன். என்ன உன் பேர் கேட்கிறப்பா? உன் பேர் என்ன? கிஷோரா? அவனுக்கு நீ கிஷோர். ஓகே, குட். நான் கிஷோர், what has he won? இது வரைக்கும் ஒரு பைசா ஜெயிக்கல. ஜெயிச்சாச்சா? ஒரு பைசா ஜெயிக்கல. All he has been given is that he has been given an opportunity to go and sit in that narkali, which may give him a chance after answering some 13, 14, 15 questions, 1 கோடி ரூபா. இல்லையா? 1000 ரூபாய் அவுட் ஆகலாம், 2000 ரூபாய் அவுட் ஆகலாம். முதல் படிக்க போகாம டக்குனு அவுட் வெளியே வந்துடலாம். மேலே போயிட்டு பண்ணலன்னா பாதி ஆயிரும். And suppose you win even 1 crore. What will give you one? What இந்த கோடி வாங்கினாலும் என்ன? I am asking a very deep philosophical question. What will you get with 1 crore? On Nelson Manikam Road. Nelson Manikam Road இல்ல தெரியும்? அமைஞ்சிக்கரை தெரியும்? ஆமனா இல்லைன்னு சொல்லுங்களப்பா. தெரியல? நெல்சன் மாணிக்கம் ரோட் தெரியும்? தாஜ் குரூப்ல இருந்து, தாஜ் ஹோட்டல் குரூப்ல இருந்து புதுசா ஃபிளாட் கட்டுறாங்க. புதுசா ஃபிளாட் கட்டியிருக்காங்க. 2500 சதுர அடியான ஒரு ஃபிளாட்டுக்கு என்ன மதிப்பு? கொஞ்சம் ஐடியா இருக்கா? 7 கோடி ரூபா. It's 31,000 rupees a square foot. ஸோ 1 கோடி நீ வாங்கிட்டு நீங்க 300, இந்த ரூம் கூட சைஸ் கூட வாங்க முடியாது. 300 சதுர அடி தான் வாங்க முடியும். ஆனா அந்த 1 கோடி ரூபாய் வாங்குறதுக்கு ஒரு வாய்ப்பு கிடைச்சதுனால all I've seen bloody fall on the ground and start crying, and then some 2 parents will be sitting there, கண்ணீர் வருது. What nonsense, boss. He's only got a chance to sit and go in the chair, and after that, even if he wins 1 crore, so what? Now my point to you is, boss, you are getting a chance to sit on that chair in which you can change lives, not this chair. UPSC personality. Do you see the opportunity? Do you see the emotion? You have got a chance to change the lives of millions of people. Millions of people, poor people, who will never be approached, who have always been oppressed, who have always been sidelined. You get a chance at least to serve them. You may serve or not serve is a different matter. But at least vaip kadide. Now that is the chair that you are going to sit on when you are called for that interview. Boss, that 1 kodi is nothing. It's not even 1000 kodi இருந்தாலும் பரவாயில்ல. பட் என்னோட பாயிண்ட் அந்த 1 கோடிக்கு வாய்ப்பு கிடைச்சனாலே ஆள் எவ்வளவு எக்ஸைட்டடா இருக்காங்க. அண்ட் இன்டர்வியூக்காக போகும்போது அப்படி போறாங்க. Why? Can you see the change of perspective? Can you feel the energy now? Yes or no? Yes, sir. Feel the energy? That's it. See it like that. Every time you are going to give an exam, whether it's a prelim exam, mains exam, say your prayers. I believe in God. I believe very strongly in God and I say my prayers. Say your prayers, but go there with excitement. Go there with that confidence that God, you are giving me an opportunity to serve you. Because Mahatma Gandhi said, God resides in the face of a poor man. Do that. All right. Okay, so we move on. So that's why I'm saying you are the star. This is your crorepati time. You are the star. You are the stars, boss. Okay, DAF and beyond. These are basic fundamentals about the interview, anywhere between 25 to 45 minutes, typically 30 minutes average. The normal pattern is please tell something about yourself. I think this is available in your system. You can ask them for a printout. The normal question is tell us who you are, what do you think from, what's your name, why did your parents give you that particular name? These are all some of the questions that normally do come. Now, remember, that's the first question. See, the first impression is when you entered the room. When you enter the room, are you bringing in a sea of energy, positive? Or are you bringing a sea of doubt and negativity? It's a short walk. Typically, gate will be here into this. You'll have to do a short walk between. UPSC, typically that's the pattern. These are these old buildings. So the rooms are big. So they'll be sitting there somewhere. The gate is there. You walk in. And you get enough chance to kind of look at everybody and see that how many men, how many females. And so you accordingly will say, whatever, good morning, ma'am, and good morning, sirs, or good morning, ma'ams, and good morning, sirs. Adala, second, you'll get a chance to see it. Boss, why don't you come this side here? Seriously, because enaka neck turn panni enaka problem aagudhu. So I think you can put your bag down. One person can put the bag down. Some of you can. I mean, I know you are seeing the screen there, but for me to see you, I have to have Volini after this. I have to have Volini balm all over my place. Good. Come here. One of you can sit here. मुझे लेस एडजस्ट பண்ணுங்க சார். அது சொல்லுவாங்க பஸ்ல இருக்கு. मुझे लेस एडजस्ट பண்ணுங்க. Fine. So self-introduction, degree-related question. Now this is like, don't prepare for it now. If you're not going for the interview now, don't prepare for it. But I'm trying to tell you, they want to find out who you are. What's your degree and where did you study, which college, etc., etc. Which city are you from? Oh, there'll be questions regarding to the option. But that's all there. They have a data sheet which you will know. The DAF data sheet is with them. And up to the point of your coming into that class or that office of that so-called member of the Union Public Service Commission, you are just a piece of paper. And that's all they know about. Name, father name, mother name, village, etc., working, mother's background, father's background. When you get to that point, I'll coach you more. I don't think you need to bother with all those things now. But obviously, some of you may have work-related experiences. You will be asked that you're already working somewhere where you're working. All those things will be there. Important question is hobbies and this thing. So I think some of you have already filled up your DAF, or you'll be filling it up now. For the prelims, you'll be filling it up now? Now? Okay, then this becomes very important now. So please, there are certain, I think that part is also. Yeah. So, as I said, there are certain static details. I mean, like your mother, father, place of birth, date of birth, these are all static details. But there are also, again, some non-static details, which is the achievements that you had in school, prizes, etc. you've won. Please don't, now sometimes it says prizes won in college and degree college and all this thing. And people ask me, sir, I won it in class 12, should I mention it or not? I don't see any harm in mentioning it. But it should be of some significance. It should not be like a merit certificate given to everybody so that you get it. Why I'm saying it? Because now if you have to fill up your DAF, please remember, very important point. Write this down. Every data in your DAF has the capacity to become a conversation. Every data, including your date of birth. Now, how many of you share a date of birth with a famous person? All right. What about 2nd October? Any 2nd October bonds? 30th January? No? 12th February? Abraham Lincoln's birthday. I'm born 12th February, so I'm telling. So what about, there could be so many, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Narendra Modi, there are so many people who you might share your birthday with. So even your birthday is an important data. Every data in your DAF has the capacity to become a conversational point, starting with your name. Why did your parents decide to name? So you can't change that. But I'm saying that make sure when we come nearer to the personality test, we'll start working on that. But on the non-static data, please be careful to mention things that show your personality. And what did I tell you about your personality? Number one, it is, let's hear loudly. What is number one? Your personality is louder, please. Number two, and number three, right? These three factors. Now, if you said television watching, what does it show? Are you unique? I don't think so. It definitely shows stable, which is what the hell are you doing? You're sitting in front of the television watching this thing and eating popcorn or eating chips. Now, is that a character which will be required for CIVIL? I don't think so. I'm being honest. I don't see. So think of the characteristics which show that aspect of your personality and character, which will align with the definition of what is a personality and what are the traits that are expected from a civil servant. So today's issues, I mean, if you are not into climate change, if you're not into environment, if you're not into pollution of the oil, the elements that we talk about, air, soil, water, and all those things, if you're not concerned with some of those things, you should be concerned with those things. And what are the activities that you should do, which means you could be part of a Rotaract club or a Rotary club or a Save Green organization or morning walk where you go with people to clean streets, something of the sort between now and December 2026, or maybe this much later. 2027 probably, yeah. Between now and then, try and develop some hobbies which show that you are a person with a heart and that you care. It could be animal welfare also, nothing wrong. Old people welfare, destitute welfare, orphanage welfare. I keep telling people that, and I know some of the people whom I met and whom I've coached and who are actually doing these things. I knew of a girl who used to be good in dramatics. Now, you've done theater, you said. You've done theater. I knew of a girl who said, whose one of the hobby was theater for old people. Naturally, you know that it's a unique thing. Then you ask, excuse me, you mentioned one of your hobbies is theatre for old people. So what do you do? And she said, sir, in my spare time, I have done theatre, I've done this theatre. In my spare time, there is this so-and-so name or this so-and-so name, old age people home. And weekends I go there and I enact and narrate to them the stories from Mahabharata or Gita or whatever, Bible, whatever. I do it. Now, that's much better than television watching, isn't it? Somebody has just written, what do you do? Television walking. Oh, you say television watching, sorry. So now please, can you get into the mindset? Now, what talent has God given you? Think about it. It could be storytelling. It could be even cooking, good cooking. So what I do is cook for the old, which means once in a week or once in 10 days, I go to an orphanage and I volunteer to cook, and I'm a good cook, and I say, okay, I'll cook the food for you today, and I make unique dishes. And the tatas and tatis feel so happy when the storytelling, music, singing. I think somebody mentioned singing. You mentioned singing. Singing. Singing for the less privileged. I go to this thing and I teach them the basics of sa re ga ma pa da ni sa ma ni da pa ma re sa. I teach them. So it shows, wow. Now, if this girl who's got nothing to do with getting more money, getting more fame, but in her spare time has the heart to go and teach, how much more will she do when she becomes Secretary to Government Social Welfare? You get the point? You are leaving triggers of thinking which will lead to a spark and which could light a fire on how your personality, unique and stable, is also good for all the things that are required from the civil service. So when you're filling up your DAF now, you obviously can't change your static data, but in the non-static data, please make sure you apply your mind and don't fill it by routine. Laga diya, kuch laga diya. Even if you are, let's say, into walking or running, specify. Again, your DAF data should be specific. So if it's running, it's middle distance running or long distance running or fast running. If it's sports, mention the correct sports, cricket, whatever it is, if you are into it. But then it should be at a level which is, they will say, wow, that you played for the district or you played for the state. You play some gully cricket and all those things, I mean, it's okay, but avoid that. Because the moment, as I said, go back to that, every word in your DAF has the capacity to become a conversation. The moment you say cricket, and if you've not done research on cricket, and there's one person who's sitting over there who's already a cricketer, he will start asking a conversation on that, and most of your answers will be that I don't know, and I don't know. Now, I get back to the point I told you about I don't know and I know. Anything which is as part of your DAF, anything which is part of your subject of study or subject of option or subject school or whatever it is, prefer not to say. You should not be in a position where you say, I don't know. You should know. But we'll come to that later. So I'm saying now is the time when you're filling up your DAFs, make sure that you're filling up your DAF in a manner that if I'm sitting there for my personality test and if I'm asked a question on this subject, how will it show a certain personality aspect of me, which is like, wow, 100% fit for civil services. Get the point? All of you in the back also? Get it? So don't, as I said, don't fill up your DAF just by chance. No. It's as important as filling up what your optional subject will be or what your other subjects will be, because that is exactly what you will be questioned on. So you can write all these things, such as extracurricular hobbies also. I mean, whatever it is, if it could be I've seen a lot of people around writing journaling. I don't know why. Are you all journaling? How many journaling? No. But a lot of people, I think, because it became fashionable, and somebody said, must have told them that I wrote journaling and they asked me and I did this. A lot of people seem to write journaling, which means I write about my everyday activities. So reading could be good. And if you're cooking, for instance, if your hobby is cooking, please mention it. But please mention what kind of cooking. So if you are, for instance, into, how many men into cooking? Very good. Anyone? Wow. All cook, huh? Very good. What cooking do you do, Tambi? Stand up and tell me. Can you hear him? Are cooking kadiyadappa? Chicken gravy means mutton kurta panna mudiyada. No, that's what I'm saying. That's why. Okay, good example now. Now, if you're just making some chicken gravy, which could be tasting good or bad, I don't know, please don't mention it. What do you cook? So, yeah. What? South Indian, North Indian, Chinese, Mexican. So what I'm trying to say, mention South Indian. If you're good in non-vegetarian, then you okay. You mention South Indian vegetarian cooking or South Indian vegetarian cooking, because if you just write cooking, and I say that, okay, how will you make a burrito for me? And you say, what is burrito, sir? You have not mentioned what cooking you are doing. So I'm asking you to, okay, how will you make, let's say, a tossed Hakka noodle? You won't know. So be specific. If you are into cooking, mention South Indian, if not also even mention Chettinad. Because I don't know whether you know Chettinad cooking, because Tamil Nadu itself, there is like 20 types of cooking. So mention, if it's a love and a passion, which means you really do it. Because for all you know, there may be a famous chef sitting there. Or somebody like me, who's actually very fond of cooking. Sit down. You get the point? Don't mention vague subjects like cooking, reading. Now, if you're into reading, how many people have reading as hobby? Please raise your hand. Don't be afraid. Yes, ma'am. What's reading do you do? No. It's either fiction or non-fiction. Mostly means what there's no. Please don't use vague terms. Mostly, which means unmostly. Maybe I might read some comics also. So number one, don't use vague term. If you are into fiction reading, then say whatever mention. If you mention South Tamil fiction reading or English fiction reading, mention that. So they limit their conversation with you to that what you know. I don't want them to go into a pathway which you don't know and which you have not taken. Because then you will be grappling, you will be groping, you will be stumbling, you will be falling. So be specific. Even if it's swimming, mention what swimming you do. I do middle distance hobby swimming. Yeah, middle distance hobby swimming, whatever it is. Or walking. Then a lot of people put walking and running. Now again, running can be from Usain Bolt to Adisa Baba, who's he does a marathon. Yeah, it could be from 100 meters to 42 kilometers. So if you're into running, then mention that middle distance running. A lot of like people say visiting tourist places. Then again, what kind of tourist places? You must mention. So again, if it's visiting tourist places of historical importance, or visiting tourist places of religious importance, or visiting this thing of wonders of the world, or something like that. So I've already seen 3 in my bucket. There are 4 more. But then you must know all the wonders of the world. I hope you're getting the point. Your DAF filling up applies a lot of application of mind, and don't fill up anything in which you will ultimately ungalke grill paniro on the chicken mari. Don't fill up anything vaguely. Fill up with a conscious fact that I will be asked a question on this. It should not be, oh, Sri Pakla. Maybe he might ask, may not ask. No. Don't take that chance. So list out all your hobbies. Talk to your coach. Talk to your mentors here. Talk to us. These are the hobbies that I have. And in any of these hobbies, as I said, if you have certain talents, like as I said, painting, singing, dancing, storytelling, theater, how are you using that skill to bring joy to someone who's less privileged? An orphanage, an old people's home, some destitute children with mental challenges, etc., etc. Are you using that skill to bring greater joy? Or are you just keeping it to yourself? That's it. So I told you that I think this is. Okay, so I told you there are two aspects to your interview. The first is a focal aspect. I think that might come or may not come. The first is a focal aspect, where they focus on you. When you come in, between the entrance of the door to the time you come and sit down, is the focal aspect. They see you, oh wow. This is what this piece of paper which I had in my hand, this is what the person looks like. Look, you're good. Look yourself. Look, you're good. Once you sit down, the vocal aspect starts. You start speaking. Now, once you start speaking, these are some of the important points that you must realize. First thing, most important thing about vocal communication is silence. Learn to be silent. And as I said, it's not a coincidence, but the fact is that if you notice, both these words have the same alphabets. SILENT and LISTN have the same alphabets, which means if you do not remain silent, you will not be able to listen. And listening, when I say silent, it's not just silencing your ears, you have to silence your body, mind, and soul. Totally. And then only you will be able to listen to the conversational, and I don't call them questions, because I told you there are no Q&As. Every question, according to me, is a conversational trigger. I call them a conversational trigger. It can be conversational. You can start a conversation with that. Every conversational trigger has to be listened to very carefully, and I'll tell you why. Sometimes we have some database in our mind, and we have some good information in our mind, and the person starts off with that, and okay, feel but the question could be like this. Suppose you are from Mylapore, assuming that you are from Mylapore, and you've studied all about Mylapore. How you've heard about Mylai, and it is from Mylaipur. It was once upon a time peacocks. I hope you all know that, no? That story. You all know that? Why is it called Mylapore? Hare? Bosses. How many from Mylapore or thereabouts? So, yeah, Mylapur. God is sambandha kadiyade. It has got nothing to do with gods. Nothing to that. Before that, there used to be a lot of Mail over there. It used to be a place where a lot of peacocks used to be there. So Mailude Urninde, Mylapur vandachi. Temple eppuram bro vandhudu. Adukku munnala Mailu. Anyway. Now suppose you are from Mylapur. Now, since he has already got something about Mylapur in his mind, I'm framing the question. You are from Mylapur, and I see, it's a very significant, and this is now my conversation. We are having I'm the interview board, and you are the candidates. I see from your DAF that you are from Mylapur. Mylapur is a very, very historically significant part of the city of earlier Madras and now Chennai. And, it has some fantastic temples. And what's the link? What's the connection between this Mylapur and, let's say, certain bird species? What's the question? Or what's the conversation about? What are many things that I expect a reaction on? No right and wrong. How did I start? I see you are from? And Mylapur is? Sounds lattapa solunga. Why? I'm not impressed with this kind of thing. You speak loudly. Please tell me. It's a? Yeah. And it's got some fantastic temples and all these things also. But the last conversation is only about what is the connection between certain Mylapore and certain feathered friends or thing like that. But because you've read so much about the temple, I've seen people saying, sir, Mylapore has the famous tank there and tank temple there, and that is a temple. Because honestly, just like the half glass empty or half glass full, it's the same glass. But sometimes you see it half empty, sometimes you see it half full. The ears also have the tendency to hear what you want to hear, though it may not be the truth. So hence that silent. You have to silence your body, mind and soul and not feel, oh wow, aa gaya, na padchide aa gaya, and then you brrr, start off. Now, a good conversation on this would be, so okay, now that I've told the answer, let's find out. What will you give as the answer? Or what will you do for this thing which I told that you come from Mylapore, which is a very important and significant part of the history of city of those days called Madras and now called Chennai, and has lovely temples and all those things. But what's the connection between Mylapore and birds?
Sir, I think it has a connection with. Sir, I think it has a connection.
You think?
I think.
Are you sure? I'm not interested in what you think. Now I'm being the tough interview person behind the board, not Vivek Harinarain anymore. I'm not interested in what you think. If you know, you speak to me, otherwise don't speak to me. Never use words like, I think, maybe. No words which express doubt. Is it possible, sir? Can I, would you? Please don't take offense. I'm using one or two or three or four of you as a coaching technique or a coaching method. No words which express doubt. You know, or you don't know. You can't be, can I take a guess? Can I think? Okay, so now you know. Let's forget the I think part of it. Let's go.
So it has a connection to do the increased number of peacocks which were found before, like in the.
You'll have to study. You'll probably know the answer. Okay, now good, very good. So you've done, but you've not answered my conversation. Conversation number one. You are from. Acknowledge that. Number two, it's a very beautiful. It has some fantastic temples, but it has what connection to the bird. So a good conversation would be, say, thank you so much. And that's true. I am actually from Mylapore, and I'm really proud to have been born in that very significant, as you mentioned, part of Chennai, which is otherwise known for its so-and-so tank. You mentioned the Mylapore tank and the sabhas and this thing, and it's resonating with all the time with music and some of the things. But to your specific question on which are the birds, the word itself, actually, Mylapore derives itself from the word Mylai-pur. Mylai means peacock, pur means a place of. And history tells us that, if you know the exact figure, exactly, this used to be one big forest, which was called this and this. And there were a lot of peacocks in this area. So when the first time it was established, because of the sound of the peacocks, it became Mylaur. And then from Mylaur, it became Mylapore. So that's right. That's the connection with. Now that is a conversation. You get it? Don't, because you saw the question. And I've been telling all of you, please don't see the question. Look at every word that is coming out from that side as a conversational trigger. My children, I want all of you to succeed. And please, as I said, the whole, you have to see everything as a conversational trigger. And what does that show is that I have listened to your conversational trigger very carefully. I have absorbed every point of that. I respect it. And therefore, I'm responding to every aspect of that thing, whether it could be even just to say thank you, to say that thank you, yes, it is a very beautiful part of this thing. And then coming to what was your question part, you don't talk about it as a question, you lead them into a historical perspective and give them a conversation about it. Always leave your conversation, I'll teach you more. Always when you go for fishing, at the end of the line, you put that pullu solvaangala, pullu solvaangala. Now, what does that pull do? It basically goes into the water and keeps shaking. So the fish comes and catches it. Now, who gets caught? The fish or the pull? The fish gets caught. All your conversational should end with leaving some earthworm, which they think that they have caught you by asking you a question on that. They think they have caught you, but actually between you and me, you have caught them. So for Mylapore, you could always say that this peacock, this thing, but there are many other theories also on what the name Mylapore comes for, and leave it. What's your name? I'm sorry, I forgot. Subhashri. If you do that, normal question would be, okay, Subhashri, what are the other things that you are talking about? Now they have bitten you and you are now taking them on your path. Which is what, again, please don't, I'm a Christian and I have zero vanity. I have zero pride because I believe everything what has happened in my life is because of God's grace. 70% of my interview, they were asking questions which I wanted them to ask. Because I was leaving enough triggers where they thought they are going to catch me, but actually I was catching them. Because that's the whole art of interviewing. In interview, you always end at a point where the next question comes out. So I'll teach you that also. So very important point in your conversation, remember, you should know how to start strong, but you should know how to end even stronger, and which means at a certain point, which is you think is your strongest point, don't complete it. Shut up. Let them ask the next question. And if you can lead like this for even 3 or 4 questions and have conversation for about 2 to 3 minutes on each of them, 4 into 3 is 12 minutes. 50% of the time, the conversation is happening on the ground in which is damn solid. You have prepared it. You know well. Who can stop you? That's the art I will teach you when you come to first clear the prelims and come to the mains. Yep. Now you get a taste of what the intoxication that children feel all across the country when they talk to me, and how we are at 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, conversations are going on, 12 o'clock at night are going on. But that's it. And all because I love you guys. That's the only reason. I have zero money, nothing for all this. Nothing. I want you to succeed. I want you to become better human beings. I want the best potential of you to come out. Okay. So silent and listening. And number 2, which is very important, and this is again something which you have to do even start now, what I call think and shrink. Now, in the think and shrink again is that whole capacity that you could talk, like he's from Mylapore. He could talk for 5 minutes on Mylapore. But you cannot talk for 5 minutes on Mylapore. You have to talk for only probably 1.5 minutes, and not even 1.5 minutes, maybe 2 minutes. And each capsule should be broken up into 60-second capsules of 2. And at the end of the first 60-second capsule, you should have left that bait. They bite, you get the second capsule. Now, that's the capacity to think and shrink, which means I could speak for 10 minutes. I bring it down to what's the relevant point that I have to talk about, and then talk about it in less than 2.5 minutes, each capsule being 1 minute and 15 seconds, which means 75 seconds to 80 seconds, not more than that. And if they don't take the bait, so be it. You move on. That's the capacity to think and shrink. And that's the capacity that will help you in your mains. This think and shrink is a mantra which I have taught children on how to write their mains. Because there again, you will be expected to write in 300 words. They mentioned that. Write in 250 words, and you can't go on writing 10 pages and 5 pages. So how to condense 10 pages of knowledge into 2.5 pages of exciting material and then present it in 300 words? Because the think and shrink formula is like that from 300 words, when they read, they should know that this guy knows 1,500, 10,000 words. But because there is a limitation of 300 words, he's expressed it in 300 words, but given a chance, this boy or girl can write a thesis on it. That's your capacity to think and shrink and expand. Get it? We'll do all that. First, we have to start MCQs. Okay, appropriate speed and volume, listening to the question, appropriate speed and volume, we'll come to that. Eye contact is again something very important. I mean, all of you don't maintain eye contact. When you're talking to me also, you're kind of looking away. Basically, what I see in this entire 25 to 40 minutes that you are spending there, at 100% of the time, you have to look respectful. I respect you. You have to look very respectful. So the respectfulness actually starts essentially from being well dressed. When you walk into the room, you are well dressed. It does not look like he was, going on Shah Jahan Road, which is where UPSC Dholpur House is located. That he was, by the way, Shah Jahan Road leda poitendare yaru kooptaangala appadi ulle vandata. Looks like he's prepared for it, depending on the season of the year. Again, suit and all is not necessary. Depending on the season of the year, depending on the time of the year, and depending on the time of the interview. It's all very important. You have to look smart. You have to look yourself. But most importantly, you have to look respectful. So what will look respectful to let's say, a panel of people who are more than 55, 60, 65, 70 years old? As I said, that shoes should not be dirty. Pants and all should be well ironed. Otherwise, they feel like, beard, no, possibly no. If you have a beard, that should be well shaped. No long hair, no symbols on you which proclaim who you are. Nothing. So these are some of the things, but we'll come to that respectful much later. I mean, you have miles to go before we come to that stage, but mentally start preparing yourself for those kind of things. And then, as I said, eye contact, shrewd answers, addressing with respect and posture. This is again for that interview. You can do it later on. This is all okay. These are some of the other sessions that you'll have. This is me, obviously, as you can read it, see it. This picture, I think I should change now because I have much more white hair than they have in that. Yeah. And he's also not grown any hair, so it's okay. So this is it. We'll have sessions. We started one and we'll have back-to-back sessions on all these days. I think there are 3 of them on that day. So I'm the solo guy, and then the rest of the choir will be coming and they'll sing in an orchestra. 3 people. I think with that we are done. Yeah. So now Q&A. And please shoot whatever questions you have. Starting from your prelim preparation to your prelims, I think better. Because now you have to write the prelims instead. How many of you have given the mains? And please, assuming that you are clearing the mains, any questions on personality development? Come in front. Come in front. Talk to me. All the mains people come here. All those who have given mains, kuch munna nahi mangla. Vanga. Ma, this is life and death, huh? I think the prelims people can take some of those chairs and because they are like sued, already sued. So when are the results expected? Anytime now? Wonderful. Solan Thambi. So what doubt? Now assuming all of you mains cleared? Mains cleared? Ningala mains cleared la? Ninga mains cleared? Wonderful. 4 of you, 5, 6. Come and sit here. So let's look at it like, let's say mains over. What's the point now? There's a mic. Can't imagine, can't believe that mains are over and I'm selected. Apne pata na, abhi over. You cleared the mains, now start. First of all, speak loudly. Speak louder. Louder. Okay, now that's what I said in theater. What we are practicing is to throw your voice. You can throw your voice, you can throw your voice, you can throw your voice, you can throw your voice and still not shout. Practice to throw your voice. Because the worst thing that can happen in a personality test is, excuse me, what did you say? Can you repeat yourself? I'll tell you why. 30 minutes of time, let's assume 30 minutes of time for all of you who are giving your Ningla means clear particular. Okay, come here then. So all those who have cleared your mains and you are assuming that the mains are over, you will be going for your interview. When you go for your interview, now this is the first time when they are seeing your face and you are speaking to them. So four things are very clear. A, as I said, this is, as I said, the vocal aspect and the focal aspect. In the vocal aspect, your speed, your tone, your tenor, and the volume. These 4 things are very important. Irrespective of what you say, you have to be heard, number one. So that determines the volume. You have to be understood. So that A determines the speed. That if you speak too fast, they might not be able to catch all the words and they will say, excuse me, but can you repeat yourself? If you speak too slowly, they'll get bored and they might sleep off. So you have to speak at the right speed. Number 3 is the tone. Tone defines whether it is respectful or it is not respectful. And tenor also decides, tone and tenor kind of combine together to ensure that, in a choir, there are 4 voices, what they call the soprano, alto, tenor, and bass. So the sopranos sing that very high tone, and altos are little girls. Tenors are again thinner voice, and basses are, that's the whole range. Now, you should be able to speak with a good speed, with a good volume, now, and a slightly deeper voice. Practice, because all said and done, the only reason for success of Amitabh Bachchan is his voice. Let's be clear about it. His shoulder droops on one side, he's got a tall, lanky figure. There's nothing in that character except deep voice. Kya baat, kaun bane, that. And research, and I'm talking research has shown that people tend to believe those who have a bass voice more than somebody who have a shrieky voice. What's the basis of that? I don't know. But somewhere in the brain, your brain is tuned to that fact that if somebody is speaking with a loud voice, with a clear tone, with a clear volume, and with a slightly bass voice, you feel that I was unmai chol raha. As compared to somebody who's talking like that. Seriously, I'm talking. And boss, it makes a difference. Because I told you, every 1 mark counts. Now, if they feel, wow, what a voice, you get those marks. Same matter. Said in one way, you might get 140. Said another way, you'll get 200. So that is the important thing of the vocal aspect. Make a note of that: speed, tenor, tone, and volume. These 4 things are important. Number 2 is eye contact. All of you must remember, and you have to maintain, and these are all basics I'm giving you. Once you get selected, we'll coach you more. You have to maintain eye contact with the panel 100% of the time, except from the time when you specifically request them that, can I think? Some question is asked and you don't know the answer, and you say, can I think and tell you, and they say, sure. Now, when you're not speaking, you're not conversation, and you are thinking, you could look down or you could look up or wherever you want to look, wherever you want to look. But once the conversation starts again, your eyes come back from wherever you were looking when you were thinking, and you go back to looking at them. You don't break eye contact with them ever. The philosophy being that you will lock the eyes with the person who is giving you the conversational trigger, which means, and I use the word for all of you, as I said, please get into your mindset. I'll never call it a question. I'll only call it a conversational trigger, because every question, according to me, is a conversational trigger. So the person who's giving you the conversational trigger, you are 100% of the time, you'll only be looking into that person's eyes. So if you're asking me something, I'll only be looking at you. And let's say this is the panel of 5 people. But in my conversation back to your trigger, 50 to 60% of the time I'll look at you, but the balance 40% of the time while I'm answering, I'll also be generally looking into the eyes of the other people. Because the point I'm trying to convey is that the conversational trigger has come from you or one person, but my answer is to all of you. So conversational trigger can come from one, but my answer is obviously to all of you, because otherwise, if you maintain this only, he will sleep off. This member will sleep off. And if he sleeps off, he will not listen to what you've said. And all the pearls of wisdom and all the pearls of fantastic conversation which you have given will be lost. And ultimately, the marks which you finally get when they decide that, okay, X, future janka panka, whatever. So whether future punk should be given 200 or he should be given 165, this man will say, sir, the entire conversation he had with you, you may give him 200, but I'll not give him 200. I'll only give him 140. Okay. But then, okay, said, what about 170, 160 is okay? Fine. Everyone should say like, wow, even when he, you asked the question, he was also looking at me. He kept me involved. I was in the conversation. I was this. Everybody should say, yeah, 200 plus, 100%. And that's how you get 200. Because the marks that you get is a consensus. It's not one chairman's opinion or one person's opinion. So this is what I thought are the basics of assuming that you are getting through. So eye contact is very important. Respect comes out, as I said, even from the dress that you wear, the way you talk, the way you even say, I don't know, which is a good answer. I don't know is a good answer. You'll have to do it. And yeah, so more questions now. I mean, this is just for the 4 or 5 of them who are written the mains. Prelims, any questions on prelims? Yes. How to strike a balance between?
Number of questions you attend, quant and reading for it.
See, ultimately, as I said, preliminary examination is very clearly, these people will tell you, what was your strategy for prelims? Huh? No, 100 கேள்வி பண்ணீங்களா எல்லா கேள்வி பண்ணல கொஞ்சம் சில விட்டுட்டேன். Tell him what was your strategy in English. Tell him what was your strategy. Anyway, you. He is saying how do I strike a balance between. Oh, CSAT in this thing. Oh, I give it normally. I tell 5%. Suppose your total number of hours that you are using is 1,000 hours. 5% of that 5,000 or 1,000 hours you should devote towards CSAT. Depending on where you are on CSAT also. If you're good in English, 5%. If you feel my English is not good, maybe up to 6 to 7%, but not more than that. It's very basic, boss. CSAT is very basic. So as I said, if your time available to you between now and giving the prelims is 1,000 hours, 50 hours towards the end. There again, don't start some very basic work of CSAT in the beginning. Towards the middle part, peak up your CSAT so that, okay, yeah, now I'm doing it. Towards the end, maybe 5 hours or 7 or 10 hours again, just to brush it up again. But CSAT is again a qualifying exam within the prelims. So, and you need to get 25% in that. I think 25%? Yeah, 25%. Like 25%. Some very, very, very low number. So, but on a thumb rule, I have told children, depending on where you are, if you have studied from a really good, have a look at a couple of CSAT papers, and you'll know whether the logic is where you need attention, or the language, or the comprehension, wherever you need attention. Work on it. And as I said, if you are a fairly okay in English and logic, you don't need to spend more than 5% of your total preparation time. That's more than enough. CSAT and prelims. All depends on how many hours have you decided to spend. So you have to, I personally believe you need to spend at least 1,000 hours between now and May. At least 4 hours a day, 4 to 5 hours of solid, focused, strategic studies. Not any studies, but strategic studies. What about any other questions on prelims? Any other question? Yes, you want to, some? So, எல்லாரும் எல்லாம் தெரியுமா அவ்வளவுதான் இனிமேல் அவ்வளவுதான் உட்கார்ந்து நாளைக்கு கொடுத்தா அப்படி எல்லா ப்ரீலிம் ஆயிருவீங்களா? What are the questions you have on prelims? Somebody from the back rows. என்னங்க? புரியலையே. See, there are 2 levels at which you have to analyze. One is an overall trend. Overall trend means 100 questions. I think I also have that presentation, but KingMakers Academy also had that presentation. A trend analysis of the subject-wise analysis of questions over the last 10 years. So, as I said, there have been some expansion, there have been some shrinks. More questions are now coming on climate change, environment, and things which are more current than pure ancient Indian history, ancient political science, ancient sociology. More questions are coming on this. And even questions which are coming on all the other subjects, which is history, geography, political science, international relations, current affairs, etc., are more linked with what is currently happening now. That subject, but what is currently happening rather than pure text questions. So the questions are all available. You can study it. More importantly, what you have to do is that once you've understood that what is it that I have to study, to decide what you should not also study. And I keep telling children that if your analysis shows that only 3 questions or 4 questions are been coming on a particular area of study, and you hate that area of study because you feel that, my God, it's a waste of time, I would even say you don't even study that. You don't have to be Sakalakala Valvan. You should know. It's better. It's better to know. Same thing, like I said, it's not. Bruce Lee is a thing which I keep telling you, is that it's no point in studying 100 kicks. It's better to study 3 kicks, but do it 33 times and you know it better. Or that Pareto principle, 80-20 principle. Typically, what happens is that 80% of your knowledge sometimes you might be wasting on things which might only be 20% important or relevant. So what you have to identify, what is your Pareto principle? What is that 80% that I must study and spend 100% of my time and not waste that even 20% of my time? Because I know that out of this 80%, even if I am able to answer 60% of the questions, I would have reached 6 into 8, 48%, which is more than sufficient to clear prelims. You get the point? So which is that 85% I should study, or 90% which I should study, leave 10%. Which is that 90% I should study, in which, as I said, even if I can attempt 5.5 to 6 questions out of every 10 questions, I will surely make it. But that 90% you must know like the back of your head. And in that 90%, you should have done all the back years question papers, all the mock test, all the speaking. But more importantly, I told you those 2 things very important. Start improving your reading skills. Read faster, because sometimes you have to read. These people must have, you have to go up and down once or 2 times. Please tell them.
I studied 2 times.
You have to read. And you have to make the paper dirty. Please don't try and keep it clean. When you're reading for the first time, out of those 100 questions, there are at least 5 or 6. There'll be, let's say there are about, question is like, what's your name? Then you are not looking for options. You're only looking for where is your name, and you mark that. But that will be probably not more than 7 or 8, 10 questions out of 100. There'll be at least 30, 40 questions of which you know the answer, pakka, but you thought, okay, one more chance, let me give it a thought. Then about 40 questions which you think, okay, if I read them again, I think I might be able to come to an answer. There are 10 or 15, 10 or 12 questions, or 8 to 10 questions, let's say, maybe about more, about which you know nothing. I've not studied that subject. So put crosses. The ones that you know first time, sure shot, please answer them. The other questions which you think, if I read them once more, I'll be able to put a mark on that, 2 ticks. When you go back second time, start with the 2 ticks. And make sure you don't go to the ones that have put a cross on it. Don't even read them. Because you don't want to even read those 8 to 10 questions. You don't know the answer. And I'm telling you, never go to those questions. I've known of a lot of people, apni balti paita. Because they attempted those questions, they thought, let me do 100. I don't know, all of you did 100? How many did you do? No, please tell exact number. 80 or something. Please tell them. Tell them. 80 odd questions she did. How many questions did you do? 92. 8 questions, you didn't know anything, you just did not even try. No knowledge left, did not even look at them again. What about you?
I attended 90 questions exactly.
90,
Yeah.
91. So I'm telling you 10 questions. அந்த பக்கமே பார்க்கக்கூடாதுப்பா. பார்க்கக்கூடாது.
I don't know what.
என்ன பேசுறான்? வேற மொழி, கிரீக், லாட்டின். மொழியே தெரியலையே. என்னமா? Those questions also you must mark because again strategy, boss. The strategy is reading a question about which you should not have read again is also part of strategy because you're spending time. You're reading that Latin question again. You know damn well I don't understand Latin. How the hell will I ever even answer it? So you have to mark it like double X, double X, double X. திருப்பி வரும்போது அந்த கேள்வி பக்கமே பார்க்கக்கூடாது. And that's how you do it. And with that, if you think between your absolute 100% sure and very sure and sure, you've already crossed, I'll now 60, 70, 65, 70, வந்துரும், and you're still at 80 only, as she says only, stop. Stop at that. You just need to get 48 right. That's the strategy. It's not that easy. Sounds easy, but it's not easy. Let me put it also. And one way of making it easy is, please ask all of them, how many times did you read the question paper? Once or twice? Twice. How many times did you read it? How about you? Twice. 100 கேள்வி இரண்டு படிக்கணும். Now, if their problem is, இந்த ஸ்பீடில் படிச்சேன்னா 50 வரைக்கும் போவீங்க. All of you, no, not with him. I'm looking at him unfortunately because he asked it. You should be able to read fast. Improve your vocabulary, improve your comprehension, improve your reading of English language because that's the only language in which you give. It'll help a lot. Speed reading, you have to do it. If you have a problem on reading speed, please let us know. We have coaches for that also. We'll coach those people how to read English faster. But that's a must. It's a given. Any other question? Any other question from that side? Any other question? All of you are giving, isn't it? May. I may give or I will give in May? No, I'm not sure. You all are giving or I may give or I will give in May? No, உங்களுக்கு கிடையாதுப்பா. நீ எல்லாம் இப்போ இன்டர்வியூக்கு போற. அவ்வளோதான் முடிஞ்சு போச்சு. Any other questions? Otherwise, sure. Yeah, please. Louder, boss. As I told you, I'm slightly deaf.
We are attending for 2 rounds. 2 rounds or 3 rounds. We have
3 rounds கிடையாது. That is being ambitious. Tell me.
we are more focusing and more attempting for that to read the question and answer the questions of that. But somehow we have a mindset on to low in the mind confidence thought. So how can we manage that confidence and mindset to keep the 2 hours more effective?
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, I have seen that yoga helps a lot in setting the mind right. It might sound this thing, but if you have a problem individually or any one of you have that you are not sure about, you become anxiety issues or something there, yoga helps. Some basic yoga, the pranayam, breathing, etc. It helps you always to calm your mind. Get into that. Because there is no medical reason that I can give for you. There's no other non-medical reason which I would like to give. But if anxiety of mind, see 2-3 things which people say, they become nervous. So I asked them, what is your cause of nervousness? First of all, as I said, please understand that the paper that you are giving in that sitting hall, in that Chennai school or whatever it is the same paper which is given to everyone. So if I would always, in fact, I have given the example, whenever and you can ask all these kids who have qualified, whenever you feel that the paper was really tough, it's damn good. Because it's tough for everyone. When the paper is easy, then some who have not prepared well also can get in. But when the paper is really tough, then only the tough get going. So it's democratic. It's the same paper. Number 2, if the paper is tough, it's tough for everyone. Toughness or non-toughness is a consequence of your preparation. It has got nothing to do with the quality, content of the papers in question. It's a question of your preparation. Number 3, Please don't get nervous if, as I said, the first 5, 10, 15 questions, you don't know the answers. And I give you the example from this, my own namesake, his name is Vivek. He's in the Indian Forest Service now. He didn't know any question till about 15, 14, 15, nothing, Latin, Greek. But 16th answer, 17th answer, 19th answer, he got 72. So if you don't know 12, you still have 84. Out of 84, he got about 70 odd marks. So don't get nervous about the fact that I don't know the first 4 questions. Remember, your battleground, your painting ground, your canvas, size of your canvas is 100 questions. It's not first 5 questions, first 10 questions, 8 last 9 questions, nothing. It's 100 questions. Out of those 100 questions, you've got to get 48 right, 48%, 45, 48. I'm 45. He's saying 45. General.
45 into 90.
So 90 marks. 46 is safe, I think. 46, 47 is really safe. You've got to get 46, 47 right. And please, for God's sake, don't get 40 wrong. Because I put it a point, but they're going about out. I would be damn happy if you just come out and say, I did 55 questions, sir. But out of that, 53 were right, maybe 1 or 2 cancellations. That's it. I left 30 questions. Nothing wrong. Please, the marks don't count. Please understand. It's not like if I got 80% in your prelims and then they'll have some 10 marks extra for your mains. Nothing. CSAT, again, same thing. Qualifier within qualifier. And a lot of children, I'm telling you, a lot of children have had this problem of trying to feel guilty about the fact that I've only done 80. This is live example, 80, 80, 80, 80. All of them are in 80 to 90 range. None of them have done 100 out of 100. What about you, sir? The Baragan? 79, not even 80. How about you?
96.
96, being a wrong example. But how many marks do you get? No idea. 106, 53. So 53 out of 96, which is of course some mathematics, some right would have gone wrong. I'm telling you, if you had done, this boy would have done 88, he would have got 116. Because obviously, Nadia Katay. He's got 106, which means ultimately he's got 53 right or 54 right out of 96, which means somewhere if you do the mathematics, how many right would have cancelled how many wrongs. That's it. 79. How many do you get? Marks.
Marks, final marks.
The prelims.
As per the key, I have checked.
Prelims, how many marks?
95. 95.
Good. 79 questions. What about you?
I attended 90 questions. 60 questions, 52 questions correct.
Correct. So 120 something, is it? The Baragan? Nobody has done 100, boss, I'm telling you. I've not known of a single child. Most of the people who have done 100 have not qualified. Because they wasted their time studying Latin and Greek, not even understanding Kelvi Kulle, and then using up their mind, saying, and ultimately got a negative. So I hope your mind should be at peace. If there's still not peace, as I said, do some yoga, something like that. It's not difficult if you just strategize well. Any other questions? Otherwise, that's it.
What we have to study now, particularly for interviews.
Interview, as I told you, I think I gave all the dope over here. Well, content-wise, I think you must, all the current affairs, absolutely pakka. You brush up all your subjects, whichever your optional was there. Whatever subjects you've studied at school level, go through your DAF. School level, whatever subjects you've done, maybe a question will come. Static data also, you must do a lot of research. Suppose father was in agriculture. No, father was a government servant, mother was also somewhere. Questions can come on, let's say for an example, your father was in Post and Telegraph Department, P&T department. Then what's the history of P&T? What's the thing? In your hobbies, if you've written Scouts or NCC, then you must know all. Second DAF will come now. Yeah, so as I said, so first thing you have to be honest. Be very honest about what you are. Don't write things which you are not. Because I told you that uniqueness and stability is this important thing. It has to be, it is you, number one. And number two, it is you over a period of time. It's not only in that room. That's you. That's your personality. So as I said, honesty is very important and specificity is also important. How to put that exact language in which you have to put your hobby is also very, very important. The rest is all static data, but achievements, hobbies, this thing is there. And then, of course, after that, you have to give your options in terms of service options and all those things. That's all fairly standard. Then state card-wise, which state, what sort of all those things have to be. And that's all fairly standard. The tricky part is that hobbies and extracurricular activities. If you have done something which shows that there is something unique in you, consistent about you, and which influences you in a manner that you will be able to show that you are a better civil servant, to be able to capture all the captures of all the values of the preamble. And of course, current affairs is really important. And if current affairs is linked to your subject in some way, suppose you're doing, let's say, political science, PSC and IR. A lot of things happening on PSC and IR. You should know about them. All around India and its neighbors, policies, bilateralism versus multilateralism. So what's your subject? Sociology. Sociology is again very vast, boss, because everything is sociology. So sociology, I think you must, I think all of you start, I don't know whether they will be told not to talk about it, but the special intensive revision which is happening, electoral practice which is happening, some of those things you could be asked questions on this thing. In sociology, a lot of migration has taken place. So that is migration of human. Immigration is big sociology. What do you think about the immigration policy? And remember, you have to sound secular. You have to sound, you should not sound too inward looking that only my country, my this thing. It has to be, you have to be balanced in your view. We'll come to the specific, but yeah, immigration I think is really big. Impact of war, sociology I think is great. There are a lot of wars which are happening now. Impact of poverty, impact on hunger. Now COP30 is taking place. That is very important. Climate change, what are the principles? Then what's the principle of, the developmental needs being distributed according to resources and not that everyone has to do everything. So these are some of the principles which you must read. Obviously, like I keep telling you, the budget you must know by heart. All the important policies which are related to in some way sociological development of India, whether it's the girl child or education, the NAP, you must know by heart. That you cannot say, I don't know, because since sociology is part of your subject. What's your subject? PCA. Okay. So that's again, you got lots on your table also. Yeah, what about you, ma'am? All of them, sociology, anthropology, anything to do with anthros is you. So you have, a lot of research is happening, a lot of diggings are taking place now. A lot of new finds are coming out. So that's also part of anthropology. It's also part of sociology. But remember, the answers should be romantic. The people should want to listen to you. So I always say, prepare your written answers. Don't just think that I'll go there and say something. In fact, this is the first time you're coming to me for coaching for personality. Yeah. Okay, it's more tough than prelims and mains combined. Okay, want to have a cup of tea now or coffee or something? Seriously, I'm not joking. How many questions did you prepare for the mains? Written answers. 1,000? In this, you'll have to prepare at least 500. 500 written answers and then think and shrink over there after silent listening. Because first thing, remember, now these guys have to be treated differently. Now, so please don't think that I'm telling all of you, because then you'll think what Bhuminath and Sunaran sir ரொம்ப tough இருக்காங்க. First thing understand is that up to the point of prelims and mains, there is a box. The box is your curriculum, subject, topic, bullet points allowed. Personality test, there's no box. Anything can be asked.
Sir, often, proper is that we have to read more than 2 newspapers for the interview. Is it?
Newspaper?
Yes, sir.
No, anyone is good. Any one good newspaper is good enough. For the economic commentary on some of those things, yeah, maybe you should do, but I think there's an economic survey of India that keeps happening. It's some 22 MB file, which I just saw. The economic survey of India paper that happens, that gives you the full data. So economics is not necessary. I don't think you need to read. Just a good Times of India or some good newspapers is enough, more than enough. But again, please understand, cull out of that, all that is, so for any information which is like so big that whether you have taken anthropology or sociology or something, but you should know. I mean, you can't say I don't know. Apart from that, most of the time, it will be current affairs of the subject that you've studied. What's your subject?
Tamil.
Good. So you are stuck to Tamil. They'll ask you something about Tamil literature also. Very good. Tamil literature, again, what's happening all about Tamil Nadu? There'll be some questions on that. And but then again, they'll Tamil பேச போறீங்களா அல்லது இங்கிலீஷ்ல? இங்கிலீஷ்ல பேசுவீங்க. Yeah, because interpreter is an avoidable thing. It's not a good thing. I hope none of you are taking interpreters. No interpreter. No, good. So that is very important. But as I said, what's across, and start reading now. And start making those questions. Right from what's your name to why did your parents name you that thing, the importance of your city. Tell me 4 things which are good about the city. All of you from Chennai? Pudukkottai has a lot of history. Raja Pudukkottai, a lot of history. So Pudukkottai, you'll have to study all about Pudukkottai study from whichever place that you are in, study it from its historical, economic, financial, industrial, and sociological aspect, all 5. But just because you've studied it, don't go and dump it there. And so, for instance, I'll say you're from Pudukkottai, and you know the famous Rajas of Pudukkottai. Can you name a few Rajas of Pudukkottai, let's say? No, don't have to answer. And what do you think they have done? And tell me some few things that the Rajas of Pudukkottai have done, which became landmark for not only Pudukkottai, but developmental models. Let's look at that. So you have to study about the Raja Maharaja of Pudukkottai. But then, to show that I know a lot about Pudukkottai, I don't know how many districts in Tamil Nadu now, 37? How many districts in Tamil Nadu? Eh? Pudusa, 37, 38, some. And where exactly is Pudukkottai located in terms of, it's next to Tanjavur. I was collector of Tanjavur, I know that. So I would say southeast. So the way if you answer that question, that one of the 37 districts of Tamil Nadu located on its southeastern corner, Pudukkottai is. So which means I know the number of districts. You also left a bait. You said, you mentioned that, you know, out of the 38. Can you tell me the neighboring districts of Pudukkottai, which you should study then? So that's how you leave baits, and you show off your knowledge without showing off. And then you come to that conversation to say that the Rajas is Pudukkottai. So you have to study all about Pudukkottai. So now you get a feel. So study your native district, study about your father's, mother's education, background. Read your DAF. And but I know of a person, I mean, these are some classical examples. I know a person who had studied in Anna University. And the man asked him questions after question on Anna. I mean, very simple question. In fact, those now I'm sure you. What is the full name of Mr. Anna? What about the initial? Saptingla? Abra? Seen Anna, Anna? Okay, MGR was the very famous district. What was the full form of MGR? Purachi Talaivara. That's where I'm saying, that's where you become different. So who's your favorite chief minister? You say, I don't know. He must have been some Malayali name because he was born in Sri Lanka. MG. You know, you take his full name, MG Ramachandran, more popularly known as MGR. Well, so you have also shown that I just don't know him as MGR. I also know the fact that what's his full name, where is he from. You've shown off that knowledge without showing it off. So that's how you, but that's one more answer. So that's why I say you have to write 300, 400 answers. You have to write those answers, right? Open a book now. Open a book and start writing all about current affairs, etc. One page. Good articles which come out and good editorials which come out, cut them out, stick them up, go and start reading them, read through that. Right, your preparation, I'm telling you, prelims plus mains plus is equal to interview. It's that tough. To be 200 plus, I mean, I'm saying, because otherwise, yeah, fine, 145, 150 is also an option. So if you have to be the 200 plus, they should feel like without this person, the civil services will be at a loss. That should be the feeling. In the all civil service, Lilenaka, civil service Natamargo. He should be there. And then they'll give you marks like 210 because they don't know what's your marks in the written. And they'll give you marks saying that, okay, let's give him 210, 215, that whatever marks he's got in the written, 100% service for. That's the, I don't know whether on that basis they gave me 215, I don't know. But I got 215 out of 250 because I had very good marks in my written also. Overall rank was 50 something. And with those marks, if I have to have those marks today, I would have been some 60 marks more than your topper. Nowadays, I think marks are also less. They are a little more stringy. Those days, we had to write long answers. There was now 200 words, 300. We used to like 4 pages on each topic, 5 pages on each topic. But it's good. I think here they cover more knowledge. Also check your capacity to be able to think and shrink. Yeah, good. I won't say that was better or this is better or something. It's not. So please start opening your registers. If you haven't started, please start developing on the register which you'd already done for your mains. Start developing on those registers in terms of a general knowledge perspective. Open new registers on current affairs. Start cutting, putting pages, reading, and start talking to the mirror. Because the mirror is your best friend in any case. And that's it. It's very difficult and yes, it's very easy. But you have to be sure of yourself, that's it. Anything else?
Being a job,
Yeah.
whether full-time we should be available for the preparation from mains result up to the interview?
I have no idea. I don't know whether, I don't look at full-time, half-time, part-time, etc. My understanding is that you need that many number of hours. You need, now you of course cross the mains, yeah. So I don't know. Okay, you're working damn good, fine. You need to spend at least between now and the interview, at least other 200, 250 hours solid for preparation. Just cutting. So which means you sleep less or you work less, I don't know. That's if you want to get, you have to. Your advantage is if you're working, at least 15% of your interview will or may be focused on what you work in. Where are you working? Then not possible. Which department?
Audit, as audit inspector in finance.
There may be some questions on audit and all those things, but they won't ask because it's a very sensitive issue. They don't ask about government, they don't ask about DMK versus Government of India and all this. Very clear instructions have been given to the interview people that you should not ask questions which could lead to a secular debate or which could lead to non-secular secularism versus kind of controversies, which could lead to political discussion, debate, where both could be right. Whether Hindi is the best language or not language, etc. So they don't ask those kind of questions. They don't. Tamil Nadu government, there's no work, boss. What is it? Chumma poi kail kote varvandi dena. I've worked in it, so I know. No, but so whether you work there, you don't work there. You see, you are competing with. Are you working? You working? You're competing with them. You working? No, You're competing with them. You can't say, yeah, simple ana kelvi kekringla, yeah, now work பண்ணிட்டே இருந்தேன் தமிழ்நாடு government. You're just one of them. So you cannot go with that palm attitude. Please understand. No palms are selected ever. What they need are tigers, bold people. They don't need. You are on a level field. Let's put it like this. Everybody is on a level playing field. There are no biases. There are no selections. There is no, preference for any region, any particular caste, community, color, creed, nothing. Purely on the basis of the fact that how your response is in that 30 minutes. That's it. Which is good and bad, but it's good. All 6 of you can come separately, a lot of time. So any other one from the prelims? Otherwise, thank you so much, boss. Oh my God, 5:30. Thank you, sir. Give yourself a big round. Well done.